Rurouni Kenshin, the anime equivalent to a live action Velma. Shout out to the real ones to know. Is now starting to get its recognition that is rightfully deserved for many years now with its 2023 reboot that's currently ongoing. But that's not the one I'm here to talk about today. I'm talking about the OG version. And side note, JJK, I do love you, but you're never gonna beat the copying allegations. Yeah, I found it watching this show, researching this show. I found another reference / character design that JJK not ripped off but emulated, and all I gotta say is so JJK better. Hey folks, this is Board Talk, aka the Supreme Opinion, home to the most biased and casual takes on YouTube. If you like the video, hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and enjoy the video. Alright, Rurouni Kenshin setting starts in feudal Japan right before the government is established. There is a prequel to it that shows Kenshin gaining his sword skills, his backstory. It is relevant for the most part, but they pretty much explain the characters in the main story, so the prequel is not a must watch, but it is a good watch. I believe everybody should start with it first. The guys may say it came out later, but you should really start with it first. You're not gonna spoil yourself further. The main story starts with Kenshin, a wandering swordsman who used to be a Batosai, a manslave, but he was actually the Batosai, the manslave, one of the best to ever touch the lands of feudal Japan, but now is a simple wanderer. He ends up meeting this girl in this village called Karu. She's a dojo master due to her father's passing. She's pretty alright. They also meet along the way this little kid Yahiko and this rogue bounty hunter named Sanosuke, and it really just details their journeys of people from the past, whether it be Sanosuke past, Rurouni Kenshin's past, someone like that, where they try to come back and destabilize the new budding government, like all the cool kids did back then. I'm not getting too much into the plot. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy it. It did have good pacing, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't like a snail's pace and like watching Goku transform for 25 episodes. But it is a 1990s anime, so you gotta milk that runtime, drag some episodes out, gotta really make the kiddos keep coming back like any good corporate vampire. Shout out 4Kids. Unrelated note. Like really unrelated. This is not a 4Kids show. I didn't want not to alarm anybody. Just boys with swords, like God intended. But all jokes aside, the pacing is decent. It still got too much filler though. It has about 98 episodes, but I would say only 40 or so actually contributes to the plot. And when you have more filler episodes than actual plot relevant episodes or canon episodes, I think that's a glaring problem. They were enjoyable though, the first couple of them, like the first 5 or 6, because they throw them right into the canon and the like just right after the introduction and before it gets to the first arc, so you don't really notice it, or I didn't really notice it. But started taking those extended fillers where like none of this really mattered. That's when it started to irritate me a little bit, so I started skipping through. Then when I finally got through with the final arc, I was like, wait, it's still like 30 episodes left. And this is the final villain. What are they gonna do? And beholds to me, they did absolutely nothing. Still a good show though. The 30 episodes of actual relevant content were beautiful. To get into some of the characters, Rurouni Kenshin, typical anime protagonist, doesn't really progress during the story, but partially due to the fact that he's already 30 when we start, then or close to 30 when we start, so you're not really progressing after that. Cause everybody knows at 30, that's when your soul dies. Or you lose the will to fight. One of the two. Usually both happens. So I've heard. I'm not there yet, thank God. The main heroine, Karu, the dojo master, she also really doesn't progress much. I don't think any of the characters really progress too much. Like they don't really change from the character mode. They just have good moments, which is not a bad thing. I don't really consider it a bad thing, but there is a noticeable lack of character development. But Karu, she's a typical save me type person. Like she is first presented as someone who's capable in a fight, but really only gets into one or two fights throughout the entirety of the series, and what she did pretty okay. She still required assistance, so she isn't presented as utmost strongest character or one of the stronger characters in the series, but she was raised in the time of peace, holding on to a dying art form in sword fighting, whereas sword fighting is kind of outlawed, so it made sense in this world storytelling. She does have one moment though where it's quite questionable, made me not really enjoy her character as much, which was when Kenton set off for one of his final journeys to fight the final boss. I can't think of his name, so I'm just gonna keep calling him final boss, and all he did was say goodbye, and the fact that he said goodbye left her bedridden. I get that, yeah, you're in love with him. He broke your heart and all, but him just leaving shouldn't leave you bedridden. Or maybe it should. Maybe again, it went over my head. Maybe they were playing with a higher theme than my brain could comprehend. But to my brain, at least, it was kind of stupid. Just to be frank with you, Yahiko, the little kid that they picked up earlier in the journey. Yahiko is actually one of the few characters in the show that actually develops or has noticeable development, being that he is a little kid. So as the other characters are more developed, matured, but yeah, he is the youngest or one of the youngest, and we get to see him develop as he goes through these more mature situations. He improves under the guidance of Kaoru and Kenshin in the terms of sword fighting, in which he become able to become a competent swordsman, while also showing the theme of having positive male role models in a young boy's life and how that can positively influence his development. See, not all things went over my head. Probably. Well, that's one I got. Hopefully I didn't miss too many. Hopefully there weren't too many to miss. Sanosuke, or the fusion between Hiei and Kuwabara from Yu Hakusho, whatever you wanted to call him. Because, hey, I don't know which one came out first, but they definitely copied each other. Mixed and matched some features they like, but yeah, he just a stereotypical bad boy. Pause. Your stereotypical bad boy. He first started with a sword, and his sword got broke after fighting Kenton, so he continues the rest of the series with fighting with his fists. Peak character development for you, and it's never explained why he doesn't just get another sword. But let's throw away those pesky thoughts of logical thinking, because everybody knows them. They just hinder your enjoyment of shows. So let's not talk about that anymore. There's also one pseudo main character. Doesn't pop up as frequently as the others, but Megami the doctor, she really doesn't have any character development after her initial arc, where she was introduced and joined the main cast. After that, she pretty much stays flat throughout the whole series. She does have a moment or two where she helps Kaoru progress into more maturity. Anything after that is art style is a 1990s anime. I don't know what you guys were expecting. It's not no high quality stuff for its time, though. It looks beautiful considering the time period it was created. The motions are fluider than other shows, or even some lower budgeted anime today, which is impressive that even back then it's still able to produce higher than some of these companies now. Nevertheless, good animation style for its time considering, but to today's standards, I can say it's trash. And the reboot that's currently being made is a much needed update to the art style. Although they should have kept the color of Kenton's guard. I'm a dog by that, pink over red. What else I liked about the show? Its soundtrack was decent through the first part. It switched up its outro, which kind of threw me off. Kind of was a little red flag, because the original outro, magnificent, beautiful, is a bop, 10 out of 10. Another strength I like about it is it is clean and concise, which so is a negative for me as well. But back to what I like about it. But to the point where I like about it is its plot. It stays on track. It had a story to tell, and it told the story, or not many deviations at all. It stayed true to the source material, got it done, didn't take any left turns, didn't bring up aliens. Boo a job. But a weakness is, the other side to the coin is, I mentioned it a little earlier, but the characters didn't really develop. I know they had one or two moments that changed the characters slightly, but I know the story is short. The short story kind of hindered the character development. I'm not asking the characters to be completely different people from the beginning of the story. Not like I don't want the character going from being Neanderthals to high college level philosophists, but some more development would have been nice. Maybe I'm just being selfish, because I just wanted them to do some more cool shit, some more fights. maybe that's just me nitpicking. I hate that it got canceled though. Guess all those slight blood on the screen really hindered those cigarette commercials. I really can't think of any more weaknesses. I'm not calling this a perfect show by any means. I just said any other weakness I would bring up would be kind of nitpicky. Like even what I did bring up was nitpicky with the not being long enough. But if the source material isn't that long to begin with, it really doesn't have much to work with, I should say. Other than that, I give a board score of 8.5 out of 10. It's really in the board's top 20 anime of all time. It would be higher or would have received a higher score, but like I said before, I know it's a bit nitpicky, but I prefer my anime to be a longer running series and have less a filler to canon ratio better than a 40-60 with the former being higher. But other than that, is a thoroughly enjoyed this show. I'm looking forward to the fully finish so I can check it out. I would highly recommend. But other than that, thanks folks. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Again, all that good YouTube stuff, and have a blessed one.